Now, we don't want to give away too much that's in the book, but what was the most trying event, or what was the hardest thing to overcome that occurred after the crash?
Probably having to face my colleagues. You know, I had been taking this car around for the day, and everyone had such fun in it, and we were all taking selfies, and my sons were given a lift, and you know, I'd been taking people around and kind of showing off, I guess. But this little Italian car had elicited a huge amount of attention. And the final drive, as I was taking it back to the dealership, there were 3 of my good friends and colleagues, all who were at the magazine with me. And when the accident happened, you know, the idea that I could have actually killed people, or that the accident could have killed a whole lot of people, and then having to get up and go to work the next day, and sort of crying and, you know, looking at these people, and they'd all kind of been told not to talk to me. So it was a really difficult time, those first few weeks, feeling like the real pariah, feeling like the person who had literally, I'd slink off to my desk every day, sit there, and just tears would just fall and fall from my eyes because I felt so bad. So I guess trying to make peace with people, and they were actually amazing at the end of it all. They've all forgiven me. I mean, we've all felt how lucky and blessed we are now that we didn't actually come to any harm.
How does that event translate into how you live your life today?
Well, you know, I'm a kind of a chaotic person, I've realized. Whoa, is this news? So even though I've been like 16 years clean and sober, I mean, my psyche is one that is attracted to kind of chaotic things. I'm a very curious person, and I'm a risk taker and that kind of stuff. So I've really been having to look at that stuff and go, just breathe. I'm trying to do transcendental meditation. I'm going to lots of yoga. I mean, I have to train myself just to be normal, I think.
With someone with such a busy mind, and you put it so wonderfully when you said you're quite a chaotic person, is it hard for you to learn meditation and yoga and actually teach yourself to slow down?
It is so hard, but when I manage it, I suddenly go into this, oh, this is how most people actually operate. So when I'm really exhausted, I'm probably just operating on a normal kind of like even level. But yeah, but I mean, I'm getting a lot of joy out of doing that, and especially since I've moved to Cape Town. I go to Bikram yoga now almost daily, sweat it out in like 40-degree. But you see, I'm still extreme, so I've got to go to the Bikram yoga. Yeah, I can't go to normal like Ashtanga or like some really cool zippy yoga. I've got to go to the hardcore, extreme form of yoga. But I guess that's also, you know, when you realize who you are in life, you've kind of like at least got self-knowledge. So I know what I've got to be careful of. I mean, I'm very proud that I haven't, you know, used again, because it was a lot of stress over that time. It would have been very easy to drink. In the book, I write about wanting to like put crack on the exhaust pipe and smoke it till I was in oblivion, because it felt so terrible to see this beautiful, awesome new car just in pieces. So I'm really proud that I haven't, you know, had to succumb to any of those normal things that I would have once done, like this. And I've been able to stay clean and sober, which is always a kind of thing I would like to pat myself on the back for.
Well, I think that is something that you should pat yourself on the back for. This isn't the first time you've exposed your feeling and yourself. You've written about it before, but tell me, what was it like for your family reading the emotions and really an emotional roller coaster that she went through in this particular book?
This book has been quite mild for them, I think. It was my first book, Smacked, a harrowing tale of addiction and survival and addiction. That's my first book, which really dealt with my very hectic journey into crack and heroin addiction. And there my family was very implicated. Some didn't want to speak to me for a while. You know, my mum died before I wrote the book, which was kind of one of those things. I think when you write a memoir, it's often easier when your parents aren't alive, because that definitely stopped me from putting all my stuff out there, I think, until she passed away. So you have to make peace with your family. I mean, some of them are still angry 16 years later, but you know, you kind of have to weigh out, is the message more important or are personal feelings more important? Yeah. And I've always thought there are many, many addicts that have been helped by my work, and an irate sister, well, I kind of can live with it.
Now, when you think about Crashed, you think about the stories in this book, which one just makes you laugh?
I think when I went to Opi Kopi, the rock concert where I was the only clean and sober person in 30,000 strong audience.
Just as chaotic though.
Just as chaotic, and I'm sitting there trying to write my book because there is everyone I'm with. I'm all of these crazy Bulgarians who are the most like trashed party people you can imagine at Opi Kopi. And that was one of the parts that I kind of enjoyed, even though it was so hard at the time. I enjoyed writing about it because it was so absurd that I would go to a place. Like, why would I go to Opi Kopi when I'm a recovering addict? It doesn't really make sense. So
I'm sure many people asked you that.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I think they just hated me being there because I was almost like the stick in the mud, you know, sitting there holding my iPad. And so, yeah, I really, that kind of is one of the things that sticks out for me. And of course, the opening chapter, I mean, it's a terrible thing to have had to have written because it was reliving it. But I think also it helps with traumatic stress when you are able to put it down on paper and you are able to get the images out of your mind and you put it kind of out there. It does help a bit to get over it. Yeah, because you close your eyes, and with this accident, the Ferrari was hit in the front and it went into a spin that seemed to go on for about 2 years. It probably was 20 seconds. But for that time, while the car was spinning, we didn't know where we were going to land up. We could have landed up into another car, into a robot. And you know, that car's a really small, fragile car. So that spinning it haunted me for about 1.5 years. I could not get it out of my mind. I would be trying to fall asleep and my mind would start spinning. Even now when I'm driving, I get particularly anxious actually when I go into certain places. I don't know, sometimes when I'm heading into a kind of 4-way stop, I think someone's going to cut through. Yeah. So that stuff, I think yoga and transcendental meditation, and yeah, but I mean there are a lot of people I think who suffer from this thing, and it's not an easy thing to get over.
What do you hope people take away from the book?
I really hope that people can take the idea that whatever happens in your life, whatever crash, personal, physical crash you actually have to endure, there really is a way of kind of walking away from the debris, getting up in the morning, facing what you've done, and getting on with your life, and kind of in the end making a few jokes about it.
Well, your books always do take us on a whirlwind. I really can't wait until the next one, but I hope that it doesn't come after a life-changing event like this one. I really hope that.
I hope not either.
Melinda, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jen.